like to shit. You like to shit. We like to shit. This is shitting.
Hey guys and gals, welcome back. Thank you so much for joining me as always. For those of you unaware, I have made a video just a couple of uploads back that I'd like you to watch, which explains that I am leaving YouTube and going to be abandoning this channel altogether, and you'll hear all the reasons why. This is going to be one of the last uploads that I do before my final hurrah, my big bang on the way out. I will be uploading a rather special video on December 31st, and that is going to include, oh my God, some of the most legendary names in the knife industry are going to be included in that video. So I want you to join me for that December 31st, which will be my final upload on this channel. But I think one of the coolest things is I get a chance to review, for one of my last full reviews, a knife made by a good friend of mine, Benjamin Belkin, Mr. Jack Wolf Knives himself. And this, as you can guess by the VHS type packaging, is another one of the FixEDC line, which you guys know that I particularly enjoy. I love carrying a fixed blade on me as often as possible, and it's great when you can find a nice, small, super compact one that's not going to get in your way and will still do the job and be a great EDC cutter and get you out of any situation that you find yourself in. So let's go ahead and open this up, and we're going to talk about the inspirations for this knife. We'll get into the specs, of course, because that's what we do. Here is the outer packaging, and inside you will receive your knife. Attached to it will be your hand-tied lanyard with the titanium bead, and you're going to get a leather sheath with an absolutely fantastic friggin' clip. This clip will not allow this sheath to move no matter where you clip it, whether it's inside of a pocket, which I generally carry these knives inside of my offhand pocket. So my left side pocket, I drop this into it, so my knife is sitting in there in reverse. Don't stab yourself in the hand when you're looking through your viewfinder. And it just sits inside of my pocket with the clip hanging out. And I found that to be the easiest, most convenient way to carry. So let's go ahead and get it out of here. You're also going to get a nice tip guard on here so that your tip arrives without being maimed in some way or being jostled around in shipping. It's not going to cut through the foam and into the box. All right, let's get that out of the way. And let's talk about this bad boy. Starting off with the specs, very quickly, get that out of the way. Total overall length is 6 inches. Blade length is 2.98 inches. Your handle is 3.02. So for most of us, that's going to be a 3-finger hold. And that's why this lanyard, this tight knot lanyard, is so important. I used to do the same thing on the smaller fixed blades that I made. Is when you put that on there, you can wrap your pinky around it, and when you add a little bit of tension, it's almost like getting a 4-finger grip on the handle of the knife. This is essential. Don't take this off when you first get it until you learn whether you like it or you hate it. There will still be some people that don't like it or they're going to cut it off. But I'm telling you, once this is on there and you put this in your hand, you'll see exactly why it's there. So definitely try it before you cut it off. Blade stock is 120 thou thick. So it's thin and lightweight, but it's still substantial enough to do the cutting that you want to do. Weight, 2.1 ounces. This is especially important for people that are carrying a pack. If you're carrying a backpack or some sort of pack with gear, every single thing you consider putting in that pack, you have to think about very, very hard, because if you're going to be trailing for 6-8 hours, you're going to do mile after mile after mile. Every 5, 6, 8 ounces is going to make a difference. So having something lightweight with you is going to be very, very important. And this may be a consideration for you to take above maybe a larger fixed blade that you normally take out onto the trail. This might be a better option for you just because of how little it weighs. Yet it's still a fantastic blade. Keep in mind that you are still getting S90V. That means to you it has great wear resistance. That means the edge is going to last a good long time before it needs to be touched up. And when it does need to be touched up, of all the crazy hard super steels out there that guarantee a longer edge life, this is one of the easiest to sharpen yourself. It's not going to be overly frustrating. You can use pretty much any consumer grade kit or stones or whatever you want to do, and you can refine that edge very easily. I would say, as always, with any blade, the first thing you want to do is always be stropping it. Every time you use it, give it a quick strop, and that maintains the edge. And you only resharpen once the strop no longer gives you edge. So don't go out and use it, and then every time you use it, sharpen it, because you're taking away material. And that blade's going to get shorter and shorter and shorter very, very quickly. So you want to strop and then resharpen as needed. But it will be very easy for you to resharpen, is the point that I was getting to. Now, what is the biggest difference between this FixEDC and previous FixEDCs? Well, I think that's going to be pretty easy for you to figure out as they lay next to each other. Number one, you have very, very, very different blade profiles here. This is a really gorgeous clip point, whereas you had a spear point on this one, and of course a modified Warncliffe on this one. Now, that's going to be an extremely useful knife, especially outdoors, because you've got that little bit of belly to the blade. Nice long straight edge, and that tip is very, very long and exaggerated. It's good for pokey stuff. Now, my favorite out of all of them, utility-wise, is probably still going to be this one, because I've got a little bit more handle on it than the other two. And of course, the blade shape. The blade shape is a big, big deal to me. I really like Warncliffes. I find them to be very, very useful. Another big difference is these two are in a hand rub satin, whereas this one is done in the standard belt satin with the hand rub satin flats. Now, I believe on different material choices in the handles, you might have different finishes. I apologize, I did not see all of the other ones before I sat down to do this, but you almost always have different options. Now, the reason why I like this one the most is because of the abalone scales that are on here. And abalone is a funny word. I have consulted in the past with marine biologists and English professors. How the fuck are you supposed to say this word? Is it abalone or abalone? The true proper way is abalone. Let's see. Yeah, you put a stress on the last half of the B, abalone. But that sounds so foreign to me that I cannot wrap my mind around it. So I say abalone. Abalone is the first recognized proper pronunciation after abalone. So if you're struggling with figuring out how to say that word as well, now you know abalone is proper, abalone is acceptable, abalone is not. You sound like a retard. Or so others would make you think. I don't know. I'm not going to judge you that harshly. Now, not only is this part of the FixEDC line, but this is also a part of the JW Collab line. What does that mean? That means Ben has collaborated with someone in the community, sometimes in the industry. Sometimes it's another knife maker or knife designer. In this case, it's someone from the community, somebody that does not design knives, does not make knives, but is an enthusiast. So yes, that means you might have a chance someday if you submit something to Ben that he really, really likes. And I wouldn't go emailing him and DMing him and bugging him. If you're the kind that really wants to get something done and you think you have the best idea, put it up in the Facebook group. And then that way he will definitely see it, but he's not obligated to read it. And he doesn't feel like he has to respond to you. And then you'll get a lot of feedback from the fans as well. So that's the route I would take. Anyway, this was co-designed by Melissa Backwoods. And that's why this is called The Backwoods, because this was her idea that she gave to him. And then Ben sketched it out, showed her the sketches. She gave him further ideas, and then they collaborated on the different finishes and materials. He got the prototypes, sent one to her to get her approval to use it and feel it out and see what it was like. And they made all changes together. Now, I confirmed all of this with Ben so that we understood where the separation of responsibilities were. So Ben, of course, is always going to be in control of his brand, but she had quite a bit of input on this knife. Now, as you'll notice, there's not a huge difference between one of the original standard, I guess you could call it, FixEDCs and this one. So all it was, hey, let's take your FixEDC, let's make it at a clip point this time, and then she had input, obviously, on these cool materials. I love the Abalone choice. I think if you're looking to dress up your knife a little bit, that's an excellent way to go. It's very jewelry-like, and that assures you that no two knives will be alike. You and your 5 buddies could all order the exact same knife, and none of them will look alike. They'll have different patterns. Some will have more teal, some will have more purple, some will have more yellow. It's just going to depend on the shell that was being used. And one shell probably is not big enough to make more than one set of scales, so they're all going to be from different shells. So I think that's super cool. So as always, S90V, hollow ground, super ridiculous, stupidly sharp, very lightweight and easy to carry. And when it comes down to it, is it something that I would suggest to my friends who say they're looking for a small fixed blade? Absolutely, it is. Now, if you tune in and watch my final upload video on December 31st, you're going to see something else that I would suggest to you as a small, compact EDC fixed blade, but it is a lot larger than this one. It's still small for what it is, but it's bigger than this one, so they don't really compete. But it's super special, very, very cool, and right around the same price point. Now, these are going to drop. I realize I didn't mention this verbally earlier in the video, so what I've done is I've put it in text form because I have realized that I forgot to mention it before. This is going to debut this upcoming Friday. Today is Wednesday, so day after tomorrow, these are going to be dropping live at 2 p.m. Eastern at every single one of Jack Wolf Knives authorized dealers. So make sure you're there for it, because as you know, if you've ever bought a Jack Wolf knife, the one that you want the most is going to sell out in minutes or hours. You do not have the luxury of checking out the websites on Saturday to pick one up. They're gone, baby. They're just gone. And I'm going to assume that there's going to be one with titanium scales as well, because Ben likes to do that. So I'll have to see after I stop recording this. I'll go take a look, which is something I should have done beforehand, shouldn't I? All right. So anyway, there it is. Here it is up against the little Raylight Pineapple Mini. So if you like to collect very useful but smaller scale EDC items, this is absolutely a great way to go. Thank you guys so much, as always, for watching. I truly appreciate you. It has been 13 years of friggin' magic. I have enjoyed so much coming out here and sharing things with you. And I do hope and pray that you join me on my final upload forever on December 31st, because I have busted my ass to make sure we're going to have a hell of a lot of fun. And a lot of makers and a lot of brands have stepped up as friends to make sure that we had some really cool stuff to talk about, including stuff that you have never seen before anywhere. And that's always fun for me. Anyway, I'll see you guys then. Thank you so much, and I'm out of here.